every morning, you have two choices: continue to sleep with your dreams or wake up and chase them. And that's a quote from Carmelo Anthony this morning, and it's very, very clear that the options are yours. The choice is for you to make, to decide to sleep with your dreams or to wake up and chase them. And I'm excited that this morning you have made that decision to wake up and chase your dreams. And we are here to make it easier, to help you find ways to navigate that as well. So let's check out now the word of the day.
Today's word is squishy. Squishy. It's an adjective. If something is squishy, it is soft and easy to press. Let's give it an example. Harris likes to surround himself with stuff that are squishy. Squishy.
And this word, I'm sure you're no stranger to, because Sewa made sure that it was very impossible for you to forget about this word, squishy. So Extra Tall Guy, teacher Abaz, helping us with the word of the day. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, like I said. The sun is really up, and let's get to the video of the day.
My God is good, yo.
All right, so the man, Kwenote Mutala Inusa, has joined me. I don't think I can ever get rid of the Kwenote, Charlie. You shouldn't have told me. Now that I know Ogbo.
No, you have committed no offense.
Thank you.
You have committed no offense.
Cancel. So I should proceed.
This one is a positive offense. So even when
Mutala, good morning.
Good morning, Joshua.
Nice to see you on set.
Great to see you again.
Absolutely. We're
How
back
was
for
your
God and
night?
country.
Yesterday it was raining everywhere.
Exactly. I mean, after State of Affairs, I left here after 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
But I got home around 11, and yeah, we're good.
We are here again.
We're back.
It's not
For
been
God-
easy.
It's for the love of the people.
Love for country, God and country.
For God and country.
It is well. Yeah. It's
Well, Musa Lansan says hi.
Hey.
Yeah, Musa, good morning to you. He says he loves the word squishy. I don't know why he's interested in that.
The only thing that I agree with him now is that we support Arsenal together. They are the only.
Well,
Good morning, Musa.
Yes, good morning to him. Musala's the squishy man. But let's come back to the legal world. And
Sure.
we know that the National Signals Bureau case involving Kwabena Dubois is still in court.
Yes. So within the last few days, ever since, let me put it this way, since the new legal year started, we've seen a lot of action in relation to this one from the High Court, Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, and all of that. It started from the High Court, where the lawyers were of the view that the thing that a certain decision, but at some point in time before the new legal year began, just when the last legal year was about wrapping up, he and his lawyers filed an application at the High Court for further disclosures. And remember that they were seeking for documents that span as far back as 1992, national security document. And they were also saying that the bank account statement that the Attorney General has put before the court, there were some pages missing. And the Attorney General has explained that, look, between the time frame 2016 and 2020 period where we are looking at, what we want is that we want the first page of the bank account, details of the bank accounts, and then after, then whatever happened there, the state was not interested up to 2020 when they started processes, the money started making transfer and all of that. So that time frame where the accused person or the accused person are alleging that we're missing, it wasn't missing document. And so they said that, look, in all of this, we want the Attorney General to finish that for us. The High Court dismissed that. They say that, look, the ruling made by Justice John Nyedunyante prejudiced the case before the court, and so they went to the Supreme Court for prohibition. 5-member panel last week dismissed that unanimously and said, look, that application lacks merits, and so there was no exceptional point raised for the court to exercise discretion in its favor. And remember, tomorrow, 5th November, the ruling, the full reasoning of the justices will be ready, we are being told. Then they have to come back to the High Court. Remember that there was drama in court even before they went to the Supreme Court, where they said that, look, we are challenging your locals, we are challenging your authority to sit on the case. So at some point in time, if you will not adjourn the case, we will not continue with proceedings. Went to the Supreme Court, they came back. Last week, they came to the court and said, look, they made another objection, raised another point, but it didn't work. But then the ruling that dismissed that request for production of these documents, they went to Court of Appeal to challenge that. Yesterday, a 3-member panel of the Court of Appeal sat, and when the case was called, his lawyers, led by Samuel Atachian, advanced his argument, made references to the decision of the High Court, and at the end, the panel were of the view that no exceptional circumstances was demonstrated for which the court ought to exercise discretion in its favor.
Absolutely.
Consequently, they say that the application lacks merit, and same was dismissed. So what it is now is that on the 7th of November, Kwabena Dubois and his lawyers will come to court, and the second prosecution witness, Ruby Edith Adumwa, will continue with their testimony. So that is what happened in relation to what happened in reference to Kwabena Dubois, the National Signals Bureau, 41.9 million Ghana cedis case, where he and the wife and their company are standing trial for allegedly stealing the money and other willfully causing financial loss to the Republic. Yeah.
Right. Well, quite interesting. But we know that coming up as well, there have been some interesting dynamics and twists to the Akonta mining case. We are told that the Attorney General's Department made an announcement that one person has decided to sing. The bed has started singing. And Temahun, to me, is hot.
When you listen to the Attorney General, he speaks a lot of proverbial language. Yeah. And then, so Akonta mining, on the 7th of October, Chairman Wontumi appeared before two separate courts. And when he appeared in respect of two separate courts, there were two distinct cases, but related, all about illegal mining activities, unauthorized mining, of course, and then undertaking illegal mining without authorization, erecting buildings in the forest reserve without permission, and all of that. So those two cases, remember, one of the cases last week he appeared in court. He appeared very late. That was Tuesday. He appeared a week today. He appeared very late, and then the court issued a bench warrant for his arrest. That is in relation to one leg of the case, and then that one, Wontumi and two others are before the court. Then in relation to the other leg of the case, also Wontumi and some four others. But there has been some development. Let me show you something that happened yesterday. So on your screens now is a notice that was filed yesterday by the Office of the Attorney General, and it was filed at 2:58 p.m. And what does it say? It says that, look, so it listed the accused person. So this one has to do with the second leg of the case where Wontumi and some 5 others have been charged for 7 counts. And in relation to this case, Akonta Mining Limited is the first accused. Bernard Ntribu Esiakon Wontumi is the second accused. Kwame Entry at large, as we speak, we are told that he is the director of Akonta Mining, also a shareholder. But if you read the facts, it states that Chairman Wontumi told investigators that since 2020, he's not had any contact with Kwame Entry, who is supposedly be one of the directors or shareholders of the company. So he is at large. Then Edward Akwokun, also a general manager of Akonta Mining, the fourth accused person, and Kodjo Bempa, also at large as we speak. Yesterday, the notice that was filed, notice of withdrawal from prosecution. And is this familiar with you? We saw a similar thing in the Kwabena Duboah's case where Mildred Donko was also withdrawn from the trial because we used. And you remember that the Attorney General during his press conference he said that if those who approaches the office, and it's not that once you are going to be, you agree to testify for the prosecution, it means that whatever offenses that you have committed, you go away with them. No, it doesn't happen like that. It means that you have agreed to settle, and plea bargaining also works within the setting and all of that. So take notice that the Honorable Attorney General has, pursuant to Section 59 of the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act 1960, Act 30, withdrawn Edward Akwokun, the fourth accused person herein, from prosecution in respect of all the charges brought against him in this case. So in this case before the court, he and Wontumi are on 3 counts. The total count are 7. The point is that today, officially, Justice Rubiaite will be informed and charges will be withdrawn against him in relation to that. Then the second leg of the case, and remember that the first one, there are 5 accused persons on the list. Yeah. This one was the one that he attracted the bench warrant. The one involving 2 others. So, in respect of this case, he'll be appearing before Justice Audrey Kokuvite for case management conference. So, that is what we do expect in relation to Chairman Wontumi and the fact that the Attorney General has filed a notice to withdraw charges against the general manager of Akonta Mining because he has offered, and I'm choosing the word carefully, he's offered to testify for the prosecution. Nobody has compelled him. He came in and all of that. So if you want to, when I saw this notice, when I was doing newspaper, there was a headline that came to mind. I was like, yeah, I remember that one. So I went to meet general manager disown him. But it's very interesting how this one pans out and all of that. But today is going to be an action-packed day in relation to Chairman Wontumi, and he'll be appearing in 2 different courts. First, the criminal court 4, presided over by Justice Audrey Kokuvite. Then after, he also appeared before the Criminal Court 1, presided over by Justice Ruby Aiti. So we'll be there to follow suit and see what will happen, and we'll update you on Newsroom. And tomorrow when we come here, we'll update you. But the last of it is Abesim.
The murder case.
The murder case, yes. So that case involving Richard Appiah is also coming on today before Justice Ruby Aiti. And what I can tell you is that this case is nearing completion or conclusion, because the prosecution had closed its case, and then the accused person currently is opening his defense in relation to the charges that have been preferred against him, 2 counts of a murder for the 2 teenagers that is alleged to have killed. And so before the High Court presided over, and the prosecutor in this case is Nana Ama Edinkra. So these are some of the things that we should look forward to, Joshua Kodjo Mensah, this morning.
Well, Mutala, thank you so much for bringing us the latest updates from the court, and we'll definitely keep an eye on these ones, because very interesting turnouts with regards this particular cases.
Absolutely.
We'll get the details for...
It's an emotional case to follow.
Right, right.
But just before I go, there are some people who are more like, they like watching you a lot. They like watching Court Today a lot. They like watching everybody on this set. And far away in Takrady.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So let me take you to Takrady and say good morning to Clement Kotochie, Research Manager, Ghana Rubber Estate. And of course, Christian Aboga, also Overseer, Ghana Rubber Estate.
Absolutely.
And then Robert Hammond, Field Quality Controller, Department of Techniques. Also, Ghana Rubber Company. All of them.
Looks like Ghana Rubber people, they like us.
They like us.
Which we like you back. we like you. And thank you so much for always watching us. Keep doing that, and also recommending us to others to be a part of the show always. Mutala, thank you so much. Well, that's it for Court Today this morning. We've got more for you right after this. Well, so on Inside Out this morning, we are still discussing what happened over the weekend. Quite troubling, quite worrying as well. And there's been a lot of reactions as well to that particular incident involving some youth from the Bruni Chrome area who allegedly attacked the NIMUS team that were basically doing their work in the area. And it's become really topical also because names of members of parliament have been mentioned. A lot of critique has followed that. Quite a number of people not excited about the alleged or supposed involvement of the MPs and their names mentioned in this context where illegal mining is being fought in the area. And yesterday we saw that statement from the Ghana Police Service directing the CID to commence investigations into that matter. And we also heard from the Member of Parliament for Isutifi North, Ebenezer Kwekwado, who also gave his version of what happened. Now, when you read carefully the statement he put out there, he basically says that he was on the way to a funeral and was informed about what he was told was a task force besieging a gold extraction site. And so his presence there was to keep calm and not to be complicit in whatever was happening there. And so we've had that talk and we've had the conversations on that as well. But last night on State of Affairs, here on GHOne television, I engaged security consultant Professor Kwesi Enin on this development, this very worrying development. And I found out from him basically what this means. The fact that people now are, showing a lot of bravado and brazenly attacking men in uniform, regardless of the uniform that they see the men in. What exactly is the message we are sending out there? Now, he gives a caution that this is just the beginning of many to come if we do not, as a people, decide that we really want to stamp out illegal mining. Because, mind you, there's a lot of money involved in this venture. And so people are now willing to defy the law. They are willing to go against law enforcement just to protect their interests. Listen to Professor Kwesi Enin share his thoughts on this matter with me on State of Affairs last night.
This is the power game. Okay? When organized criminal networks feel that the audaciousness with which they have exploited the state is being challenged, they will fight back. Okay. Go back to history. The Italian state took years to be able to break the backs of the mafia. That is what we are going to see in this country because we want to lie to ourselves. We know the people who are doing galamsey. We know the people who are doing the illicit financial transfers. So why are we wasting time? No, this is just the beginning. It's going to be bloody, it's going to be violent, and it's going to engulf all of us.
Right, so that security consultant, Professor Kwesi Enin, last night, basically saying that, this is where we are, and this is just the beginning. If we do not take care, it's going to engulf all of us because of the interests at play. And he describes it aptly as a power play game. So this is all about power. The illegal miners want to show power. The funders of these illegal miners also want to prove power, and the state is also trying to use power to fight this. And so, we're just hoping that some way, somehow, we are able to put a proper lid on this matter. But then we know that it's generated quite a lot of conversation as well, like I said. And so last night on the evening news, Dr. GHOne says, what happened in that enclave, the videos we are seeing, is total disrespect to President John Dramani Mahama, especially the names of the MPs being put out there who are NDC MPs in the area, who are basically also saying that they have nothing to do with illegal mining. But Dr. GHOne says, regardless, this is total disrespect to the president.
If NIMOS is not managed well, it could lead to some, confrontations. Again, if you are having a case on our hands, just as the one that we are going through, where you have a certain member of parliament or certain members of parliament, at the center of accusation, then of course we could also degenerate into some of these things, and that is why we talk consistently. Believes that the state of emergency is something that we will need. Obviously, when we check the geographical location of SUTF South, SUTF North, it falls within the jurisdictions of and operations of the Newmont mines. That suggests to you that these are gold rich, areas, and so it is not surprising that people, from all walks of life, engage in galamsey, but not when the president has set up NIMOS, mandated them to carry out specific job to, bring some level of sanity and
certainly, Dr. GHOne,
forest and our water body. But if these things are happening, then for me, it is a disrespect to, the orders of the president, It is a disrespect to the president himself.
Right, so that's Dr. Tutu GHOne, basically also sharing his thoughts on the matter. And I think fundamentally what is running through is that if this is happening to the NIMOS task force that was put together by the president to deal with illegal mining, clearly we are disrespecting the president. Ibrahim Al-Hassan has joined me. He's head of current affairs for EIB Network. And Ibrahim, so you've also been following this matter keenly.
Yes.
And quite a number of reactions as well to it.
Yes, yesterday there were a number of emergency meetings involving the Speaker of Parliament as well. And then also, even at the presidency, there were meetings in this regard, right? See, Kodjo, nobody's saying that we have evidence that the said MP, that's the Asutifi North MP, is involved in Galamsey. Right. And nobody has said that. The reactions and then the fury is because of his actions relative to the operations of the task force. And this task force was not led by floor members of NIMOS. It was led by Director of Operations. And they were doing some surveillance in that regard to identify exactly where to locate a permanent post to deal with Galamsey. Now, the accounts as given by NIMOS was that the MP came in and the intervention that he took was to, first of all, ask for the handcuffs to be removed. Now, the accounts is that he instigated the mob action against the task force. Mm-hmm. The MP says, no, my actions were rather to protect you. So 2 accounts, day and night, heaven and hell. Now,
it's quite interesting.
Like I said, if this was an operation of the floor members of NIMOS, right, then we think that maybe they might have something to hide.
But this is the director himself.
Exactly. And gives an account. And you think that the task force cannot decipher protection from inciting or from attack. No problem. Collins Dawda has confirmed that indeed he placed a call to the said MP, and I'm talking about Ebenezer Kwekuado, to intervene because he's far away in South Africa at the Pan-African Parliament.
Did you see the picture in the comments that followed yesterday?
Yes. Now, once again, MPs do intervene when their constituents are in trouble. But when there's an alleged criminality, and to make matters worse, the task force retrieved weapons, not locally manufactured weapons, pistols, foreign manufactured pistols, 2 of them. Even when you get there as an MP, the last thing you want to do is to give an intervention that seems to side with those who have been arrested.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much you want to convince Collins Dawda that you have stepped in and doused the flame. Right. Now, so, yes, nobody's saying that Collins Dawda and Kwekuado are engaged in illegal mining. Mm-hmm. But we're saying that, per the narrative from NIMOS, the actions of the MP endangered the lives of the members of the task force. Mm. If, in the course of the investigations, as we are aware has commenced, it turns out that the MP is engaged in Galamsey, the system will have to deal with him. The Speaker, mind you, had issued a threat to all members of Parliament. I was there in the chamber that day when he issued a threat that if any MP is found to have been engaged in illegal mining activities, he will personally ensure that you lose your seat. So it didn't come to me as a surprise at all that yesterday he was involved in meetings to unravel this. Yes, I for one would not agree with the calls for these MPs to step aside and what have you, because, see, they cannot interfere with any investigation. The investigations, the account of the director of NIMOS should be taken. After that, investigations should be done. The reason why I say we don't have evidence that the gentleman is involved in Galamsey is that where this happened was not even his constituency.
Yeah.
He's from Asutifi North. This happened in Asutifi South. That's Collins Dowd's constituency. But nobody can also say that there's no Galamsey activity in Asutifi North, just as there is in Asutifi South. So investigations should be done.
And it's funny because I remember speaking to the assemblyman for the area yesterday on radio, and he mentioned that site is not even a Galamsey site; it's a gold extraction site.
Okay, so they were engaged in legitimate mining activity.
And then I posed the question that if you're engaged in something that is legitimate, law enforcement comes and says, we suspect you are involved in illegality. How difficult is it to prove that, I have the necessary documentation to basically show that what I'm doing here is not illegal?
And that's why the MP's intervention ought to have been that. To the police station. You've come, you've witnessed what's happening. Oh, really? Oh, take them on. Where are you taking them? Oh, we are taking them to the police station. Or we are bringing them to Accra. Or we are taking them to wherever, the regional of wherever. Okay, let's go. And then you oversee the process. You are a lawmaker. Like I said, see, I don't think Naimos has a reason to lie against the MP. To be honest with you, I'm yet to be convinced otherwise. But as I stand here, nobody can convince me that the director of Naimos
has a colonel in the military,
has a reason to fabricate this narrative against the MP. On the other hand, the MP will have his day with the investigators to prove that he didn't incite anybody and that the mob had thought of doing whatever they were doing in the first, because he mentions that he even brought in the Zongo chief, whose vehicle eventually was used in evacuating the Naimos task force. No problem. Say that to a committee. And we don't expect this investigation to take more than 1 week. To be honest, we don't have time like that.
I mean, Professor Kwesianin made that point that, see, it's so easy to unravel what is the truth behind whatever the MP is saying. National Signals Bureau can easily be able to tell us exactly who made which call, at what point, and all of that. And so, but he also feels or seems to believe that, when I spoke to him last night on SOA, he seems to believe that, you cannot say that the MP was not involved in the melee in one way or the other. Take it or leave it. Whether he was going to a funeral and then he was told, Charlie, there's an altercation here, go and settle it, and no. Because the MP says that he was going to a funeral. He even called Kolinzada to say,
yes. And then he got to know that Kolinzada was not in the country.
Oh, my goodness.
And then Kolinzada said, intervene. And you see? So what?
Did you think the statement did him any good at all?
It didn't. To be honest, it didn't. And it came late as well. This happened on Saturday.
Yeah.
Right? Now, on Sunday, if indeed the MP was a good Samaritan, as he's making us believe, right, that ought to have happened. In fact, I saw a police statement Sunday before the Monday about an incident. And so it was because it even went viral. You see, let's commend the restraint exercised by the military.
Yeah, Prof. Nini also commended them. He says it's in their training. They realized that they were outnumbered, outgunned, and anything would have led to the loss of their own lives.
One. Or loss of many more lives than we could imagine. Because even when they were being evacuated from the police,
people were still...
And they were armed. But still, people were willing... You see, the audacity, the effrontery on the part of these people to want to attack uniformed, armed military men in the name of mining is an alarm that goes off.
I agree.
And I understand why the corridors of power is concerned, legitimately so, right? Because you cannot win the fight against Galamsey if at every point in time, once Naimos strikes, an MP is called upon to intervene. So the sensitization should start from Parliament. When they go to their constituencies, they should be made to tell their constituents that if there is any crime that when you commit, I cannot intervene. It's not that you have to intervene when your constituents commit any crime anyway. It's Galamsey.
Absolutely.
And that you are on your own. If this message is sent and sent very well, I'm sure you should be home and dry. And finally, what happened to the community mining scheme? Reason why we lost the 8 gallant citizens
you mean
of
the
Ireland.
cooperative?
Yes.
Yes, mining outcomes there.
Because I think it's taking too long for it to be rolled out. See, nobody's saying mining is wrong.
Yeah.
And the very day we stop mining in this country, our economy will collapse. That's a fact.
I spoke to the team last week on radio as well.
Yeah.
And what they mentioned was that what they're doing now is education. So they are going to the mining communities, educating them on safe mining practices. But then one of their hindrances is that they are underfunded. And so they are unable to. And I'm shocked. I was shocked. Yeah. And in fact, the guy I spoke to used my show to appeal for the corporate bodies to support outcomes there to deliver.
Now, if you want to win the fight against Galamsey, and mind you, this is expected to be a very lucrative exercise, cooperative mining. So I know that the Geological Survey Authority ought to undertake mapping and zoning of all mining areas, do prospecting, and be able to identify the mineral-rich areas.
Yeah.
Just so they don't go and do matramakwe, right? Try and error. So once you are given a concession as a cooperative body, you know exactly where to go, you know exactly how to mine, and then you'll be equipped to mine responsibly.
Well, currently they are speaking to the big mining companies to give out some of their concessions for the cooperatives.
Yes. They can do much better if they lack resources. We also use this platform to appeal to government to make resources available, because this is the single most important puzzle of this whole Galamsey menace. Once we get it right, the people will mine, but they are mining legitimately. You say that don't mine in forest reserves. Yes, the LI is being repealed.
Absolutely.
And in 21 days of sittings in Parliament, the LI that allows the president to grant permission for mining in forest reserves will die, right? With anyone coming and then the 2022 guidelines being used, because there are still some big mining companies operating in forest reserves.
Forest reserves.
That has been the case since. It's been there. It didn't start under Akufo-Addo, right? And so what this repeal will do is to tie the president's hands against opening up other forest reserves to mining activities. That one is there. So the point we're making is that if we get these cooperatives to start mining, the young people who make a living from this job will be able to mine responsibly. So let's get this done. Let's devote the resources and get this done. Otherwise, see, we'll be here to talk about this day in there. Professor Kwesi warned you that the worst is yet to come. Because
this is just the beginning.
Because people believe that you are taking their food from their table.
And they would fight tooth and nail to protect their interests.
Exactly. So then, and there's no alternative livelihood arrangement that will satisfy a Galamsey. Let's not kid ourselves. Which job will give you 4,000 cedis a day in this country? 4,000 cedis a day.
Media. All right, so very well, so thank you so much. And that's it for Inside Out. And I will take a breather now or return with more. Stay with us. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And this is the breakfast review segment of the show. And this morning, we'll be having conversations with two gentlemen trying to basically bring to bear all that has been happening in the country. We're touching base with the NIMOS attack, among others. But currently in studio with me is Dr. Palgrave Wachidankwa. He's a lecturer at the UPSA. He is also a former government spokesperson on governance and security. And now they say you need to get connected. Team Ken, and he proudly espouses the qualities and why they believe strongly that Kennedy Japan is the man to lead the NPP into victory in the 2028 general elections. Doc, good morning.
Good morning, Joe.
I hope you're doing well.
Well, God has been good to me.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's true. It's been seen in a long time. Happy New Year to you.
Yes,
Even
Happy New Year
the year's
to you
coming
as well.
to an end, but it's really good to be here. Thank you for the
And
opportunity.
you've been busy. You've been really busy crisscrossing the country, taking the message of Kennedy Japan to party members. How has that gone so far?
So a very good morning to your listeners and your viewers, and a very good morning to my candidate, to the incoming flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, and the president in waiting, Kennedy Japan. Of course, we've been working very hard trying to rebuild this party, especially trying to recover from the loss of the 2024 general elections. We're happy that on the 31st of January 2026 will be the beginning of our rebuilding efforts, when the rank and file of the grassroots, over 200,000 plus delegates, will make a conscious decision about the future of this party. And Kennedy has been talking about jobs. He's been talking about entrepreneurship. He's been talking about redistribution of our various ministries into the various regions, because Ghana is just not Accra. Ghana is not just Kumasi. Ghana is not just Takoradi. And it's catching waves. Tomorrow we're going to Volta region. We've already done Western North, Ahafo, Bono East, Savannah, Northeast, Upper East, Upper West, and Northern region. So we've already done 9 regions out of the 16. Tomorrow we begin our 10th region, which is Volta region, which has 18 constituencies. In the 2023 presidential primaries, we won Volta region, and so we are very confident that we're going to win Volta region again, because Kennedy is going to take Ministry of Tourism to Volta region for it to be stationed there. And one of the things that we also saw when we visited the north was that Kennedy has stated that he's going to turn the Tamale International Airport, 90% of that, into cargo. And so we're going to be exporting all the vegetables from the northern part of Ghana to Europe, because it takes 5 hours to fly from Tamale to Europe. And so I'm looking at the innovation, I'm looking at the large number of unemployed people, which has been a creation of the intellectual community. The intellectual community has created this large number of unemployed people, because people go to school, we encourage them to find jobs, but government is not able to sustain all of that. Yeah. So government must create an enabling environment for private sector to strive. And Kennedy is the answer for that. President Kodjo gave us the golden age of business. Where we are now, Kennedy is going to provide the millennial age of jobs. Okay. And that's really what it is. It's jobs, jobs, jobs.
And how has the reception been to this message being sent to the party delegates?
Well, the delegates are thinking, and they're asking themselves, what are we going to do to ensure that this party that has been left for us generations on does not die in our time? Because you know the proverb that says that when the last tree is cut, the last man dies. Sure. It's the same proverb that says that if indeed you are a good citizen and a good patriot of a tradition that has been handed over to you, you ensure that it doesn't die in your hands. And so the delegates are asking themselves those various questions, that the continuity of the New Patriotic Party is bewildered on a leader who is pragmatic, who is truthful, who is honest, who is transparent, whose word is his bond. And who is extremely assuring that whatever he says, he will do. So the delegates are this time saying that they are going to vote for Kennedy. They are vouching their support for him. They are stating that they are going to be protecting their own ballot. Okay. Because there are some infractions that happened in the 2023 primaries that delegates themselves came to state that in places where Kennedy recorded about 93 votes, he was given 0. And so you see the liberation that the delegates are having And I mean, I'm impressed to see that we're going to have a leader that the people themselves trust. We're going to have a leader that the people themselves want, and not one that people do not consider to be able to be a collective unification of the representative of the New Patriotic Party.
And consistently, in some cases as well, we've heard from the team complain about deliberate smear campaign against the person of Kennedy GHOne, simply to put basically spokes in the wheels of the campaign. How are you dealing with that?
Well, I mean, the party set up the engineer ABSC committee. The party gave guidelines. Other people are flaunting those guidelines. We're watching to see, because at this stage where we are, the party is in a very fragile state. The image of the party is very important. We at the Team Kennedy side have been extremely credible. We kept a very consistent voice. We have had a very clean campaign. We've not smeared anyone whatsoever. We have ensured that the interest of the party remains formidable. And I mean, beyond, I mean, when Kennedy becomes flag bearer, we need a rank and file of people from the north, from the east, from the west and the south to come together for us to be able to recapture power and get back into the seat of government. And so whatever issues that we have, we've always sent those issues to the party leadership. We've sent it to the elections committee. We've sent it to the engineer Dr. BSc committee for them to be able to deal with it. But we are very focused on our message. We are very clear in our mind of what we want to do for the delegates. We're very clear in our mind of what we want to do for the Ghanaian people. And we are in no doubt in our mind that the Ghanaian people who are asking for Kennedy is the same Ghanaian people who are asking the delegates to vote for Kennedy. I speak to teenagers, and anytime I speak to teenagers who are 13, who are 14, who are 15, who are going to form part of the Electoral College of 2028, they always say they think that Kennedy is the gentleman that can help this country move forward.
I've heard some analysts, I've spoken to some of them as well, who say that currently the NPP is showing signs of division. That was, then they liken that to what happened to the NDC in 2016. Is Tim Kennedy not worried about post-election fractures and how you're going to be able to rally the rank and file of the party for that unification that would be able to champion the agenda in 2028? Are you not worried about how to bring them together?
Not at all. I think that Kennedy has been calling for amnesty for all party members.
Yes.
It was his call that brought everybody that has either been dismissed or sacked or suspended back into the party. And you recall that sometime last week, Afoko mentioned that he's going to run for chairmanship. The number of people that are running for chairmanship, John Boyd is running for chairmanship. The former ambassador to China, and Edward Boateng is also running for chairmanship. GHOne is also running for chairmanship. There are a number of people that are running. And so when Kennedy becomes the flag bearer, one who has been calling for a total amnesty of everybody to be able to come back into the party, I mean, no doubt in my mind that he's going to be the same person that can be able to unify this party of people that have had infractions over the years. And so we don't have a challenge at all, because we know that when Kennedy becomes the flag bearer, one of his topmost that he's going to do is to unify this party and put this party together, because you need a strong leader to be able to unify a broken party.
Quite interesting there. And I'm looking at the NPP and looking at how the various camps are conducting themselves ahead of January 31. And I'm sure that you might have been asked this question more than once. What if Kennedy does not win?
What if Kennedy wins? Because I mean, I do not consider that Kennedy is losing this election.
You don't consider so?
I don't consider that. I mean, there's no alternative, and that's the real truth.
But you did not consider that Dr. Bawumia would have lost the 2024 elections, but he did.
Oh, I had my doubts.
You had your doubts?
Absolutely. I absolutely. The signs were clear.
But I remember our interview, and you were very confident Dr. Bawumia was going to win.
Well, the polls said otherwise. The 7th December election said otherwise. I mean, the Ghanaian people are the ones who elect. The Ghanaian people, the presidents that we have had over the years, are a representation of the Ghanaian people. And that's what it is. Okay? The presidents that we have had Jerry John Rawlings, we have had John Agyekum Kufuor, we have had John Dramani Mahama, we've had John Ivan Satamils, we've had Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. These are the representation of the people. And so for me, I mean, I don't think that this is an election that Kennedy is not winning. This is an election that Kennedy is winning.
And the signs show that he is winning?
I am very confident about that. that Kennedy is winning this election. The signs are very clear. When we travel to all the constituencies, when we engage with the electoral area coordinators, when we engage with the polling station executives, when we engage with the grassroots of the party, they want the party back into power. And I mean, political parties exist for power. And what else? I mean, what's the benefit of being in opposition? And so we want to be able to come back to power. And so I'm very confident that Kennedy is winning this election.
Because I've spoken to the Baumia camp as well, and they are also very confident. And they have said that, well, they will extend an olive branch when, after they win, they will extend an olive branch to Team Kennedy to come on board and then unify the party and move on. And so they are also confident that they are winning.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that they have a chance in this election. I'm very honest. It's a patriotic election. It's a democratic election. Kennedy has been with the party since Professor Dubois' tenure. He served the party through the silence of culture, went through demonstrations with Kumi Prekun, rank and file, to make John Agyekum Kufuor the leader of government in 2000, made Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo the leader of government in 2017, and he's the next leader of the New Patriotic Party and the next president of the Republic of Ghana as part of the tradition of the New Patriotic Party. I mean, no doubt in my mind that Kennedy is the gentleman that can lead this party into victory.
Well, that's Dr. Palgrave Boakye Dankwa, and we'll be getting to other parts of the conversation as well. We're just setting the tone for the conversations this morning. Mind you, we'll also be joined shortly by the Member of Parliament for Yindi, Abdul Fattah Al-Hassan Jofa. He will be joining us as well to get into the issues surrounding the security lapses, illegal mining, the government's quest when it comes to fighting illegal mining, the attack we are seeing on NIMUS, and how that was the signals that also send. And so you can also join us. We are live on Facebook Live, on X, and live on YouTube as well. Join us and share your thoughts with me as well, and we'll be able to get through all of that as the show progresses. But Doc, I mean, you used to speak for governance and security matters, and let me pick your initial comments on what we saw on Saturday, the attack on NIMUS, and more interestingly, the MPs whose names were mentioned, one on the scene who says he was going for a funeral, and then he was alerted that there was some melee. He decided to pass by and then make sure that he settled matters as well. What's your reading into all of that?
You know, Kodjo, Ghana is at its low when it comes to security.
Ghana is at its low?
At its lowest. I've been speaking on security issues for the past 8 years. Now getting into the 9th year. And I've been consistent about how we cannot overly politicize our security agencies. And now Ghana is at its low. I've been chronicling since January 15th to date incidents that have happened. And it's overwhelming. Now, let me do that. See, from the 15th of January, there were some chieftaincy clashes in Uti region that recorded 3 people that died and several people were injured from the 15th to the 16th of January. This is just a week after the President John Dramani Mahama was sworn in as President of the Republic of Ghana. On the 28th of February, in Northeast Nanik, there were chieftaincy disputes. 3 people died. Victims were burnt. Houses were touched. And amongst the people that died was a teacher. On the 9th of April, in Boku, there was market disputes and police barracks were attacked. 1 person died and several people were injured. On the 22nd of April, in Domiabra, there were 6 people that were injured. There were machetes and gun wounds. On the 25th to the 28th of June, there was recurrence of what happened in Kwanta, in Uti region in January. There was a recurrence of that. More than 3 people died. On the 24th of August, the Savannah incident, Bindiri, 34 people died. 48,000 of those people have been displaced in no other country than Burkina Faso, which is not a democratic country, but a military country. On the 26th of August, there were these Teshi, Homowo, one of the chief's son was killed. 2 people died. On the 30th of August, Soweto, there were clashes. 3 people died. On the 10th of September, in Sampa, okay, also 3 people died. So there's been a lot of incidents. Sometime in September as well, in Tamale Polytechnic, there were clashes and incidents. In Buakwanoff constituency, Kokrentumi, they closed down the police. And so there's been many incidents. Look at the incident that happened this weekend. It tells you how low we are falling with our security. I got very shocked. I got very alarmed when the President John Dramani Mahama dismissed all of our security corps generals from the Ghana Armed Forces. You recall that? All of them, generals who were serving in the Ghana Armed Forces, were asked to go home. That's when I realized how weak our security is going to become. Unfortunately, we lost Dr. Mani Buama. It's been 90 days since his death. President John Dramani Mahama has not given this country a substantive minister for defense. He's giving Atufosin as a caretaker minister.
Yes.
When there is a minister for interior who could have equally done that job. Atufosin has absented himself from parliament more than 20 times. There's data to prove that. He's busy with the economy. He's preparing to read the president's budget for 2026. The president himself could have become the caretaker minister for defense because he's the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. And so there's a security breakdown in this country. We should be increasingly alarmed. Look at the people that are being killed. Uniformed people. Uniformed people are human beings with families, with spouses, with children, with extended families. Look at how they are losing their lives. Every single day, a uniformed person will leave home and would expect to come back. But in a democratic country, you don't expect that a uniformed person will leave home and not come back, because this is not a military country. This is a democratic country. And so to the incident that happened this weekend, it's extremely unfortunate. It's condemnable. Look at Bema Camp. Civilian-military relationship is breaking down. Your network brought the incident of the pharmacy.
Yes.
How the GHOne mishandled this young lady and this shop attendant, beating them brutally. In a democratic country, this is not a military country. In a democratic country, we find these things happening. In a place where you must feel safe, which is Bema Camp, you must feel safe in Bema Camp. But people are not safe. And now, people have the boldness to be able to attack Ghana Immigration Service officers. Look, I got very scared when the Minister for Interior, Muntaka, lamented about the CV that he had received from Jubilee House. Something is not going well at the Ghana Immigration Service. The Minister for Interior said he called the Comptroller General to ask, do you have this name in there? And what's the rank? He said the person has 5 more ranks to become a Comptroller General. And he was appointed as a driver when he enrolled into the service. For the Minister for Interior to drive his vehicle from the ministry to Jubilee House meant that the person who brought it is an important person. Something is not going on well. We are not in a very safe place. I'm troubled. I'm alarmed.
And when you look at all that has happened, we've seen condemnation coming from quite a number of quarters where people are also alarmed as you are. Like last night I spoke to Professor Kwesi Enin on State of Affairs, and he has cause to believe that this is just the beginning of more to come if we do not really put our best foot forward in terms of dealing with illegal mining. And so over the year, this past year, President John Dramani Mahama says that, listen, I have a solution to dealing with illegal mining. I've not exhausted all the mechanisms that need to be rolled out, and so there's no need for a state of emergency. Allow NIMOS to deal with the matter, and then when NIMOS fails, or if NIMOS fails, then you can make calls for the declaration of a state of emergency. And this is what is happening to NIMOS now.
Kodjo, do you know why I feel very sorry for the president this morning? Because his security couples are not advising him well.
How so?
They are failing him. Do you know the role of national security? They must do threat analysis. They must gather intelligence. They must protect lives and livelihood. They must make sure that we have a stable economy. They must protect the ecology. And I am aware, because every single minute, the analysis unit of national security is always bringing situational reports to the presidency. So if the president says that he's waiting on national security to advise him before he calls for a state of an emergency, then it means one of them is not working well. Because the national security is aware. The water plant has been shut down in Central Region. One has been shut down in Teshinungwa in Accra due to maintenance. And so, how are we going to be drinking water? This is clean water. It's overly purified so that it can be healthy for me. So more chemicals, more clean water. Less chemicals, dangerous water to drink. So what are we doing to ourselves? Somebody is not working well. So the president must be able to start cracking the whip. He must, because people are failing him. Look at NIMOS. I knew that NIMOS cannot work.
You knew?
I knew. Look, because you see, where illegal mining has got into, it was overly politicized by the NDC government when they were in opposition. When President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo said he was putting his presidency on the line, when President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo shut it down for 2 years, you recall, close to 2 years, 18 months, close to 2 years. The water was clean. As we speak today, illegal mining has become cancerous. It can only be maintained and managed because we need a strong political leader who can be able to say that enough is enough. We don't seem to see that in John Dramani Mahama. We don't see his political will to be able to deal with this issue. We've asked him to call for targeted state of emergency. When President Mahama came from the UN summit, he immediately called for a stakeholder engagement with CSOs.
Yes.
My brother, look, CSOs have been calling for state of emergency.
Yes, but he
the labor union,
why he cannot do that.
The labor union went into the illegal mining site. They called the president to call for a state of emergency. Look, Kodjo, where we are, I told you our security is breaking down. If civilians can have the boldness to attack uniformed people, do you think we are safe? I'm not a uniformed person, so I'm a civilian. If a civilian can attack uniformed people, we are not safe. The uniform itself must be one that prevents you from causing harm and mayhem to a uniformed person. But now civilians are bold enough to do that. So what's the president doing? We don't have a substantive minister for defense. Parliament has resumed. It's not on the agenda of Parliament. The appointment committee has not been called. The president said we should give him time. How much time? It's been 11 months. How much time? The honeymoon should be over by now. Can you not see that there's a lapse in security? It's clear. There's a big difference with how we were felt safe under the government of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to how we are feeling now.
Right.
Look at the border town between Togo and Ghana. That's where our immigration officers were shot. That's it. It's a border town. Hamile is a very peaceful place. Weeks ago, there were incidents in Hamile. So really, what's happening? We talk about the state of terrorism and the threats of terrorism against our country. We have protected our borders all throughout. If our Ghana Immigration Service officers cannot feel safe at our borders, where else can they feel safe?
Right.
Because all the security couples, the Ghana Police is for internal things. The Ghana Immigration Service is for border control. The customs is for goods and services. The Ghana National Fire Service is to ensure that when there's outbreaks, they can calm down the fire and also prevent fire from happening.
Absolutely.
The prisons are to make sure that the people who do not want us to enjoy our peace are kept in custody. And so what are we doing? The Ghana Armed Forces is for the sovereignty of the country. So what are we doing? We don't have a substantive minister for defense for 90 days.
And you believe that is also contributing to what we are seeing?
It's alarming.
Right.
The president must realize that if indeed his resetting agenda will be fulfilled, it will be fulfilled with his ministers representing. That's it. What are the role of ministers? To implement policies from the government. They represent the president and the various ministries. As we speak, I don't know. People raise the argument that there's a deputy minister,
yes,
but the rank of the deputy minister is not the same as a minister.
So I would have felt that John Dramani Mahama should have made Muntaka the caretaker minister. Or he himself should have assumed the role.
And not the finance minister.
Oh, please. Do you not see the mess? Atufosin is busy with the economy. That's what has been given to him to manage. He's under an IMF program.
Right.
He's preparing the president's budget for 2026. He's missed parliamentary sitting, almost 26 of that. He's not been in parliament. If the MP cannot be in parliament, do you think he will have time to go to the ministry?
Well, we'll come back to that conversation. You're still watching the newspaper review here on GH Today, the breakfast review segment. We'll be right back after this break. So much for staying with us here on the Breakfast Review segment of GA Today. I'm Joshua Kodjo Mensah, and earlier you heard Dr. Palgrave Boakye-Dankwa. He's a lecturer at UPSA and also former spokesperson, government spokesperson on governance and security. And we've been joined by the Member of Parliament for Yendi, Abdul Fattah Al-Hassan Jofa. Honorable, welcome.
Thank you, Joshua, and good morning to my senior here, and good morning to your cherished viewers. And sorry for my late arrival. Google Map deceived me. It gave me that I could be here in like 35 or 45 minutes.
Right.
Over an hour, I was still in traffic.
Wow. It's okay. I mean, it's nice that you're here finally.
Yes.
But I hope you're doing well and the constituency is doing well.
Oh, inshallah. I came back from the constituency, I think, 2 days ago.
Right.
I think that was on Sunday. I've been there for a while. It's good. We have a lot of work to do. The expectations are high. I always tell people that the kind of endorsement we got in the last elections is unprecedented, and so therefore the pressure we'll get to will be unprecedented. Because to whom much is given,
much is expected.
Much is expected. Yes.
Well, it's nice to have you again, and then we are looking at the issues of illegal mining and the unfortunate incidents, the attack on the task force that has been set up to deal with illegal mining over the weekend, and names have been mentioned, issues have come up. What is your reading into all that has happened?
Well, thank you so much, Joshua. I think the illegal mine, I don't know, there's never a week that passes that we won't be talking about illegal mine. It's almost like it's become a permanent feature on all our discussions.
Yes.
But I think this recent one is something that has even brought various angles to it, because the whole issue has been whether the government is truly committed to the fight. And sometimes you see, government, when they say government, they are just not looking at the presidency. They are looking at all actors, MPs, ministers, CEOs, and all those that matter. And so when a matter comes up like this, and we hear names of MPs and all these actors, it's worrying. But I will want to still leave it to the security agencies to do their investigation, because sometimes when you hear the first stories, then you are kind of, eesh. But when you take your time and you also try to listen to the other side too, then you are now caught in the middle. I haven't had the opportunity to hear some few things from the other side. I have a feeling sometimes the information that came up to at the very initial stage may not be accurately the case. But I still leave it to the security agency, because you see, for instance, I understand Collins Awura is not even in town.
Yes, he's in South Africa.
He's in South Africa, but Honorable Ebenezer Kodjo was the one who said he asked him to come. You see, sometimes if he says he asked him to come and intervene, sometimes the information you are giving, for instance, sometimes you are here, they call you, your people call you that this is the situation. Sometimes when they are in some certain situation, they won't paint the right picture for you. They will call you and tell you that we are doing this and this happened. It is not that you are aiding and abetting what they are doing, but because of the information they have presented to you, it may be that they skewed the information to Honorable Collins Awura, who is not around. And so he asked the one he's very close with, the one who he shares boundaries with, the other MP, to intervene and see what. But it is not to say that Collins Awura is aiding and abetting this. And information was shared with him. However, that information was put, you and I cannot tell. Or, the people called and said, we are doing this, and this happened. And he asked somebody to go and see to the situation. That is not the same as aiding and abetting. Because as a responsible MP, when I receive a call like that, I'll definitely be sending, you understand, mercenaries there to ascertain the true situation on the ground. And so if I'm outside and they give me that information and I say someone should go, that is what I have to do as an MP.
Right.
Go and ascertain. But the fact that the person has gone there and said Collins Awura sent me to go does not implicate Collins Awura per se, because he is to respond to a call that came to him. That is all about it. But for Honorable Ebenezer Kodjo, if you listen to his side too, it's quite some way. That is why I say that, and I'm happy, Joshua, with the kind of swiftness we see from the presidency and all the security agencies. You see that right after, in fact, even yesterday, I understand the Lands and Natural Resources Minister also had a meeting with the Speaker of Parliament. You understand? Because it involves MPs. He had meetings with them because they all mean. I think they issue a statement on that. saying that they have had discussion with the Speaker of Parliament on ways to make those MPs available. Because MPs are not easily that accessible for some of these investigations. And so it means that almost across board, in fact, even within an NDC,
yes,
we are already roasting these people. Kodjo and Kodjo, we are already roasting them dry even before we get to the bottom of the matter. It tells you that there is that general condemnation of the issue. That we will not even sit down for even those who are members of the NDC to put the fight we are currently waging against Galamsey in this. The presidency is committed. Almost all the actors are committed. And you see, many were those who said the 9 months could not do much.
Yes.
You understand? But when the 9 months was inaugurated as a security agency that was going to aid in the fight against Galamsey, they put what they could do. Today, people are even seeing that they are even able to stand shoulder to shoulder with some of these people. And so, to the extent that they have come up in the news, and that even their leader would even defy orders, if assuming those orders are true. You understand, from certain quarters, and say that he has to take the people to the police station, lodge a formal complaint. So it tells you that there's something good that is happening. You understand? And so let's not poo-poo whatever is created. They may not be pure security agencies, but to the extent that they are also aiding in the fight against the menace, let's give them the credit they deserve. I have no doubt that with the swiftness of the order given by the presidency for investigations to be conducted, I have no doubt that these people will avail themselves and they will make their side of the case bare to the security agencies, and then at the end they will all come to the Senate. The government has done a lot in the fight against Galamsey, and Galamsey, as I always say, is bigger than we all thought it was. It's such a hydra-headed issue that it has to take a longer period. You can't use that short period to fight it. I am happy that for now, the issue of importation of excavators has gone down, and even if you import, you don't have the right to use it just anyhow. In fact, first of all, you have to have a license to import. When you import it, it has to be registered. Before now, you didn't have to register. And that way you register, they will reference it to a particular location. You understand, to make sure that it just doesn't have a free field to do whatever it can do. And then the fact that this government too, if you look at its commitment, total commitment towards the fight against Galamsey, it is doing so much. It is doing so much. And so, as members of the government, we can only support the government in that regard. I think we all owe it a duty. And we will not sit down and allow the fight by the presidency to go astray. But I also have the belief that we ought to give these people the chance. We ought to hear their side of the story.
Right.
Because all that we have heard have come from one side. And so let's hear from their side and do the right.
Because we know that the CID has taken over investigation.
They have.
That Ebenezer Kodjo has been invited to aid in investigation.
And he has also even issued a statement to explain his side.
Some said the statement did not help his cause at all. It rather muddied the waters. But like you said, we'll leave the security agencies to...
Yes. I'm sure he would give the necessary information.
Absolutely.
That
but there are some who say that this is putting spokes in the wheel of the fight against illegal mining, and that the government might be taking on more than it expected the fight would be.
But I have the firm belief that even GHOne Mama is ever willing to even sacrifice seats in Parliament to aid in the fight against this Galamsey. Yes,
you have that conviction.
He will not hesitate.
If he has to crack the whip on his own, he will do so.
He will do so.
Because let me tell you that why is it that we heard that some members of the party were implicated, and all we have been told so far is that
sometimes we heard. You see, sometimes if you even later when I heard some of the other issues, it doesn't seem to be like they were directly involved. And that you see, sometimes boys go out and they use your names as the national organizer, as the deputy secretary who is in charge of operations. Yes. Boys go out and your names are everywhere. Want to do. And so, if the investigation does not point to their culpability, you understand, in the act, I don't know what we expect.
Okay.
Even though we can say for now that the investigation have been concluded and they have been left off the hook, I have a feeling that it's still ongoing because they haven't come to give us any feedback. Absolutely. But if you look at the totality of the fight that GHOne Mama has waged against Galamsey, there's no doubt. It's just that when a problem was magnified within a period of 8 years, it will be out of place for you to say you can get it over and within a period of 10 months, 11 months. It's not possible. And so we would need time. It was an open field. It's like there was no crime associated with the fight against it. And then you can even recently, as late as last week, the minister laid the bill for the revocation of the LI 2462.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, and that has been the call by even the civil society organization that we can only solve this problem, especially in respect of our forest reserves, if we are able to fully revoke this. But I have to add that the revocation cannot be the be all and end all of the whole thing. It has to come with the enforcement. Because remember, because people have already been given the license and the people have already relied on that and they are doing their own things in the forest. When you revoke, they don't mind you. They'll continue to do what they are doing. So it has to take another leg, which is the enforcement, to actually go in there and get.
And that's why, and that's the point where civil society, the MPP say, let's declare state of emergency. Let's declare a moratorium on mining, because when that was done during the Kufuor era, we saw the waters being clean.
You see, we are also dealing with an economic issue. We are also dealing with a serious economic issue, because currently the kind of support we get from the mining sector, you see, there was a situation we had before the elections where the entirety of we had 42 forest reserves that had been in the hands of these hoodlums who called themselves illegal miners. And these forest reserves were fully taken over. No, 42 were under trade and now we're completely gone. Now, that was the state we were in, and that was what motivated the call for what? The state of emergency. That we needed to reclaim these forests, because you can't say that government has lost these forests, 9 forests to these people who could do anything they liked. But you see, now the situation has changed slightly. We have reclaimed, at least this majority of the 42 forests have been reclaimed. And these 9 which were fully in the hands of the hoodlums have fully been taken over, and there's nothing going on in those 9 forests. And so to the extent that we have had a shift in how bad the situation was to now a better situation, not fully the way we want it, I think we can tone down on the call. Because at the time the call was made, the situation was different. 42 forest reserves were under threat, 9 were completely gone. Within 3-4 months after John Mahama's takeover, or at least 6 months, the 9 were reclaimed. The 42 majority had also been taken over by government. And so the situation that necessitated the call had changed.
Okay.
You understand? So it is, and you see, when you say state of emergency, it also comes with these own implications. Now, are you saying that which one are you declaring the state of? Is it that there should be no mining at all? And when you say no mining, what about what you gain as forex from the mining activities? So sometimes I would say that you don't have to throw the baby with the bathwater. You understand?
Right.
And you look at the situation at hand. If the government then, at the time there was that call for state of emergency, had been able to at least do what has been done within these last 6 months, there would have been no need for any call for state of emergency. But everything was left loose. You understand? And so people had no option than to cry and call for the state of emergency. But today, it's not entirely the case. In fact, day in, day out, even though we had some water bodies were taken over by the Galamsey activities, today, at least day in, day out, we now hear that the Ghana Water, they have been able to claim this part, they have been able to claim this. At least some progress is being made.
Okay.
And so to the extent that even minus the call, minus the state of emergency, some progress is being made. I think we should continue to urge on the government and let no member of the government think that once you are part of the government, you can always do what you like. I have the feeling that the presidency, John Mahama can even sacrifice a whole parliamentary seat just to prove to everybody, just to be able to nip this problem in the mud.
Palgrave, does that give you any confidence so far?
I have no confidence in this guy.
But he's explained that John Mahama, like President Kufuor put his presidency on the line, he says that he has no doubts that the president will be willing to even sacrifice parliamentary seats if there need be to be able to win this fight.
Kodjo, this is the 9th parliament. This is the 2nd sitting of the 9th parliament.
Yes.
LI 2462 should have been revoked in the first sitting. 11 months.
The sitting is 1 in a year. So this is the first sitting, but this is the 3rd meeting.
Your 3rd meeting. You see? So this is your 3rd meeting. Thank you.
I'm not a member of parliament. I'm now preparing to be there. But when I
also going for
when I went
your
for
party leadership.
when I went for my Ibuakwa North primaries, the delegates gave me small votes. Small votes. That vote could not push me out. So I'm still here. Your third meeting. It is now that you are sending LI 2462 for it to be revoked.
There was an amendment.
When President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, around November thereabout of last year, asked Parliament to revoke it.
Who created it in the first place?
Okay. So I have no confidence in this government. I am getting increasingly troubled. He spoke about excavators.
Yes.
I wish he had not mentioned it.
Why not?
I'm told that there are new excavators in town that were moved from the harbour to Bema Camp.
Yeah.
I'm told some of those excavators are missing.
Oh, no, who told you this?
It is true. Check the news. It's there. Have you not seen it?
No.
Kodjo, have you not read it?
No.
Have you not read it?
No, what I can
Kodjo,
only...
Oh, hold on. Let me finish.
Don't...
No, I'm not being mysterious. I'm being...
No, maybe you have information. I don't have.
Because I'm surprised. So I'm hearing this for the first time.
But it is information that is public notice.
You can only say they were being moved in the night. They saw some movement at night.
No,
but to say that is been missing...
The excavators have gone missing from Bema Camp.
No, that is preposterous. No, I'm hearing this for the first time.
Yes, I'm telling you. I'm providing security information for him. You understand? Right. So the government is struggling. Mahama has a lot more time to redeem himself. I wish Mahama well. I want him to succeed. When he succeeds, it's for all of us. Oh, of course. I don't wish him ill. Okay, I wish him well. I want him to succeed. I don't need Mahama to fail for us to come into government. We will definitely come into government whether he fails or not. But it's better he succeeds. Ghanaians voted for him. They believed in him. Yeah. I didn't vote for him. I'm not an NDC man. My vote never goes to them. But I'm a citizen of Ghana. I pay my taxes. I live here. I invest in this country. So I must get the benefit of it. But at this stage, the government is struggling. It's important for the government in their cabinet retreat to rethink about how they can rescue this country. Because the leadership has been given to them. I don't know how Mahama sleeps at night. I can't sleep at night. I
slept well under Nanado's.
No, I got here even before you did. I got here early. I got 6 a.m. I was here because I can't sleep. I'm having sleepless nights every single day. Because the level of threats, security threats that we have is alarming. And so, my brother Kodjo, let's help this country. Let's help this government. Maybe we must help Mahama. We must help. That's why I like my minority leader. Minority leader must help this government because the government is struggling. They must pick good lessons from the governance of the New Patriotic Party and restore this country back to its roots and its track records.
Well, I don't know. I'll give the final bits on this one.
I'm even short of words. Who are we learning from? That we should learn from?
He says we should learn governance from the NPP.
Come on. But we've even seen surveys conducted recently, many surveys, where 70 to 80% of Ghanaians have fully said that the country is headed in the right direction. Surveys upon surveys. And so, yes, governance will always come with challenges. Those teaching challenges will be there. We would continue to come up with measures to address them. But anybody hearing this from senior that we should pick a leaf from MPP's way of governance, I don't know, it's the funniest thing this morning. Because if you indeed led well, and you think you should be the yardstick for people to use, look at the humiliating defeat you suffered. It was just a clear statement to you that everybody lost trust in the way the governance. And let me tell you one thing. Apart from the Galamsey issue,
yes,
which obviously has a lot of threats, security-wise, our water bodies, our forest reserves, and everything. Every other thing, trust me, the way the economy is being handled, the way our educational system is being handled. No, every other thing is on course. it is the galamsey bit which is proven difficult. And you see, it is because of the level of monies involved in this. People would do everything because while they stop it, they don't know where else to go and get the monies from. And so it's not going to be easy. But if you have the kind of president that we have, like GHOne, who will not just give word of mouth commitment, but who would show by look, when he made the civil society organization, their major call was the revocation of the ELA. In less than 1 month, it's been done. So this is a listening president. This is somebody who, even though he believes that he could have solved it without necessarily going that route, but because that call was loud, he has respected that call. Unlike what we had before, where it was just a free field for all. And on the issue of the excavators, the presidency has explained it, that we needed to clear them from the port to give space for other goods to arrive. And then they sought spaces from these security agencies, Michel Camp, Burma Camp, and others. So those things are kept there. I have not heard anything to the effect that a single excavator has been missing from any of the security. It will just be so bad.
Okay.
But Paragraph, you can have a sleep. Please enjoy your sleep. Just be rest assured that you have a president who is truly committed, who is addressing almost all the issues that we have come to meet. Look at these days, the health insurance issues. He says you don't hear that service providers have not been, in fact, they are paid up to date. And so you find the system running. Look at our schools. Students are being fed quality meals. Allowances are being paid. Almost every sector of the economy is responding well. Inflation is a single digit. Forex issues settled. Almost everything is the galamsey bit that we are dealing with. And so if you want to magnify the galamsey issue as though everything is haywire, I think that would just be unfortunate. Okay. But you can be rest assured that by the time we sit here, maybe 6 months, 1 year down the line, you will realize that, in fact, the measures that have been put in place by this government were worthwhile. Okay. And that we are reaping the fruits.
Look, and their governance. The excavators parts that are missing. Yes. That's the story. Have you seen it? Your camera
that was before. That was the allegation.
No, this is recent. This is recent. Excavator parts. Missing, yes. Missing in Belgium.
Oh, okay. Oh no, if you say parts. Initially you didn't say parts. You said some explanations. If you say parts, that's also another issue.
You see, right. Excavator parts.
If you say parts.
These are evidence.
Parts of the no, that one I may agree with you.
Yes, agree.
But it's not that the excavator is missing.
He said he wants you to agree with him on that.
If it's parts, people even when you park your car in front of your house, sometimes people come to remove parts of it. So that one I won't have an issue. But to say the whole excavator is missing is another issue.
Agree with me because if our security apparatus cannot keep our excavators, parts of excavators are being missing, it's dangerous.
That one is a genuine concern.
My final take, President John Dramani Mahama, give us a substantive minister for defense. Yes. We need it. It's important. 90 days?
I agree.
What are we doing? Please trust someone and give us a minister for defense. I think it's better. In fact, it is in honor of the good work Omani Boama began. Because there are a lot of things that he might have started that is still there. I think that you guys must help us.
No, I agree. I agree. I think
he has agreed with me on 2 things.
Looks like Doc is taking
for us to have
a substantive defense minister.
No, it's in the right direction.
It's critical.
It's very critical. And I also share the belief that the finance minister is overburdened.
It's overwhelmed.
The workload at the finance ministry is not a joke. That is why in almost all government you have the finance minister having 2-3 deputies. You understand? Because of the nature of the work there. And so to have him having only 1 deputy and then you are adding a substantive ministry to him. Yeah, we can sometimes the judge, the president has the final judgment and say all this is. But I think by now we should have had a substantive replacement.
Replacement for Manibuama.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about the SML-GRA deal. Quite recently, we saw the OSP, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, they organized a press conference where the Special Prosecutor mentioned that, Kenneth Nanaya Kuntunkunuku Oforiata, and 5 others, by the end of the month of November, will be charged duly. I had a conversation with Manasseh last night, and he says that, yes, in as much as these names have been mentioned, he believes that persons who are also complicit from the private sector aspect should have also been included. And he also mentioned that the amounts the special prosecutor mentioned, that 125 million that he says Manasseh believes is extremely low, and that we should see more. But what do you make of that? Because now President Mahama has also instructed the finance minister, the overburdened finance minister, to ensure that within a couple of days that deal is cancelled and then the report brought to him. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think it should have even been cancelled way earlier into this administration, because after that deal there. In fact, if you look at it, even the white paper that came after the KPMG investigation into the whole issue, even confirmed that some of the things they were doing were moot. Some of the activities that they were contracted to undertake were moot. In fact, for instance, you said this issue of diversion. They were going to check diversion.
Yeah.
NPA had a system already in place that check diversion. If you go, they have these electronic chips that are put in these tanks, so that when they load, not if they say they are going to WA, the thing can only be tampered with when they get to WA. If they tamper with the thing anywhere before WA, it will trigger an alert at the NPA. And so there were serious checks already in place. Now you've gone to give a contract to a company that has been established not to have any experience in that field. You remember when the PPA sat on their request to sole source them?
Yeah.
This is a company that has no competence. Now, finance minister writes to the PPA to sole source that contract to them. And the PPA on 3 occasions rejected because they didn't have any experience. Before, on the 4th occasion, they finally awarded it to them. And almost everything they were asked to do. This issue of adulteration, or if you sometimes they take the fuel out and they go in and then add all manner of chemicals. Yes. All those things were being done by NPA. Price verification. You know, one major thing that used to happen was the fact that, you know, when the OMCs import the fuel and they do the selling, the profit the GRA gets is tax component, NPA gets is share of it, and then the profit of the OMC is also taken. Now, to the extent that a number of times, on a number of occasions, you have these OMCs selling these products. They are not giving the GRA their share of it. They make the profit, though. They are not giving the NPA their share of it. Out of 10 sales they make, maybe only 4 are declared. They are not, they are for their profit, they take everything. And all these things were being done. And then the finance minister comes with this company, SML, to say that award contract to SML to undergo this, to ensure that we have this monitoring on the system to ensure value for money. And if you listen to Manasseh said at some point when they engaged even the SML and asked them throughout the period of their work, did they even find a single company, a single OMC? Can they name a single OMC that they found who was complicit in this thing? They said no. They said they never found a single company. So what were you assured? What kind of revenue were you assured? Because these were leakages that were identified. And these were leakages were brought in to cure. And these are leakages that are still persistent. And so you came in and each month you were taking $24 million. And you can't even tell us how much you have been able to make to help the Ghana government save or realize as a result of your intervention. All you want to do, and to add insult to injury, even when it was clear that you were doing nothing absolutely from 2020 all the way to 2023, nothing was being done. In 2023, the finance minister even expanded the scope of their work. He went to add mining. That all mine, in fact, he gave them, I think, ever what? There was something that I think they had 0.75% of every decision that was done. And in fact, if you did the calculation, it was huge. People you've been given the oil side to, the people are not performing. You have gone to add mining into the whole contract. And so it was just a scheme established to milk the state. And I hear the owner is Ivan Seduce. He was not even part of the names that came up from OSP's list. And we are asking ourselves, if you are only chasing workers, and the main man behind even the establishment of the company, you are not chasing him, then there's at least much to be desired.
Right.
And we are also told that almost all the people who were at the forefront of GRA, who were even advising the GRA commissioner, I hear the chief advisor to the GRA commissioner, the GRA commissioner himself, and the former head of legal, they are all now working with SML.
Yes.
So you had this expertise to help the state. You were with GRA. You were not helping GRA to control that problem. You have suddenly lost power, and that you are now the key people working with SML to provide the service that you could have provided when you were being paid huge monies at GRA. And so this issue of always contracting, consulting other people to do certain things for us when we have state agencies mandated to do some of these things, I think we have to look at it. Because you have people who are being paid huge monies, given huge perks to do certain jobs. We are not asking ourselves how far or how better they are doing the job. All we do is that we take portions of the same work they are doing and give it to contractors, give it to agencies, consultants to do the same work and take huge monies. And now we are finding out that these people who are even sending those things there are themselves the owners. Because what are you doing there? 3 or 4 of you, just within these few months that you have lost power, are found working for SML. You are giving government...
You believe that is problematic?
Yeah?
You believe that is problematic?
Of course. And so if you had the competence then,
why didn't you say? And
why did you do that for the company? Why did you have to even establish that company? Okay. It means that company, in reality, is just you. You are the people. In fact, if we leave the veil, you are the people who will sit behind the company. You understand? That's why you can easily go and find jobs there. And so for the SML, I think even the president's call for it to be cancelled now is late in coming. It should have been done far earlier. And I have no doubt that when the investigation is fully conducted, I think the investigation is done, when prosecution is done, yes. We have to bring Ken home, and then one of his...
the special prosecutor says from the onset he knew Ken was not returning.
We have to marshal our forces. Maybe Pagrave can help us on a way to get him in. So I don't see why
is Ken returning?
Why you come to answer some of these things when you were preaching all over the place and wearing white clothes and giving us all the biblical quotations. At least you should be home to account for your stewardship.
Right. Doc, will Ken return?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. Kodjo, I don't know. You ask a very important question.
Yes.
That must go to the lawyers of Honorable former finance minister, not a civilian like me.
You were a spokesperson. You were a spokesperson for that.
Civilians don't answer.
You were a spokesperson.
Civilians don't answer calls for military people who are in the front line of exercising their duties.
Right.
And so that question must go to his lawyers. But I'm minded, really, that January 2024, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo asked for KPMG to do an investigation, which tells you that the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo wants an independent opinion of what has been going on. And so for 3 months, KPMG did their investigation, brought a report back to the office of the president, addressed to the chief of staff in March of 2024. And these were some of the things that they were asked to do. The first was to conduct a trial or inquiry into the course of the assignment of SML, act as a tribunal or commission of inquiry or in a judicial or quasi role, to perform any adjudicatory function whatsoever in the course of the assignment and or conduct any exercise with a view of determining whether any person was guilty or innocent of the offense. Now, I just want to move immediately to the recommendations that KPMG made to the government of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Right. And I think that it will be good for the Office of the Special Prosecutor to pick up this report, really, and help with its implementation of it in terms of recommendations, because it's a relationship between the Ghana Revenue Authority and Strategic Mobilization Limited. So you cannot just put one blame on one party, because everybody is looking at how we can be able to safeguard the various revenues that we receive. There were 5 proposed resolutions that came. The first was to be able to look at the termination of the SML contract, and the fact that there were some suggestions that were made is that SML had gathered a lot of experience over the years with their work, and so terminating it becomes a cost really to the Ghanaian economy. The second resolution was the contractual agreements that were put in place in terms of the value-driven proposition. And they had looked at some of the things that SML had done in terms of the systemic impact, the cost to the state, the sustainability, the complexity and the deliverability and the public interest. And at one point I had read about SML and read about the level of investment that they had done in the country, and the fact that these investments were not existing, and so people could easily lose revenue that was good for the Ghanaian economy. And so it was based on that really that the president asked for KPMG to do an audit. I hear what the OSP is saying in terms of the investigations that they are going to have. I think that for us as a new patriotic party and the government that was in office, we don't shy away from being accountable. There are evidence to prove of how we have been good stewards of this Ghanaian economy. And so anyone that the government is asking, and the government of the day is asking to come and give an account of all transactions and contractual arrangements that were given, I'm very certain that those people will make themselves available. But we would ask the OSP to open up his lenses, really, because this may not be the role of the OSP, but maybe the role of the President of the Republic of Ghana, Sedinam Tamaklo. He's been tried, supposed to be in Ghana for 10 years to serve a jail sentence. She's not here. Okay, Sedinam Tamaklo caused the government of Ghana financial loss of about 90 million Ghana cedis. She's not here. We can't find her. And so if the government is very fair and strong about corruption and dealing with it and cracking it down, should start from home. Where is Sedinam Tamaklo? It's over 90 million.
Is that equalization as to why Ken also should not come?
Not at all. I said that the Oforiatta issue must be addressed directly to his lawyers. Yes, that issue must be addressed directly to his lawyers. But I'm looking at the public responsibility for all of us that are public servants and the trust that the citizenry must have for us. Okay, and so if people have gone through fair trial, and in upholding the integrity of the judiciary, they've gone through fair trial, judgments have been pronounced, it is only fair that we remind the government of the day that there are people that must come and serve their sentences, and they are not here. And so we need them in Ghana. They must be in Sawum. Okay? I don't want people to mismanage responsibilities that have been given to them. I don't want people to enrich themselves unprofitably. I don't want people to enrich themselves through corrupt means. We are building a country. We are building a value system. We want a clean and fair country. Okay? If people have mishandled and the courts have found them to be guilty, send them to home. Let them be in prison so that we can have a serene environment and a serene public sector to be able to work in.
Right. Okay. And you're still watching the Breakfast Review segment of GA Today here on GHOne Television. And my guest in studio, Dr. Palgrave Boachidankwa. He's a lecturer at the UPSA and also former government spokesperson on governance and security. And we still also do have in studio the Member of Parliament for Yendi, Alhassan Jofa, as well, helping us appreciate some interesting conversations of national interest as well. But tonight would have to touch on one more topic this morning, and that would have to do with immigration officers now crying for help. I read the statement, the open letter, and it was really touching. And one would be asking why we are having this conversation, because two of them were shot at Timpan, and you alluded to that. I think was it Doc alluded to the fact that uniformed officers should not have to leave home and worry about not returning. But it looks like it's becoming their reality in one way or the other. Honorable.
I think this issue is really serious. If the security people, those who are mandated to provide security for us, are now running for their lives, you can imagine what becomes of us as ordinary people. I honestly don't get it. These areas, we have to look at the way our border posts are being managed. Is it that they are not armed when they are there? Is it that in fact, the people, they are that for the chiefs, those who bring in these items, they would find every means to scare them off. But if it means even adding military posts around those areas, just to beef up security, we have to do it.
Right.
Because these are people who, as it were, they almost all the time sleep in the bushes. Because these border areas are normally found in the bushes. And the people go there, they have to spend the whole night there. I have just last week when I went home, one of the guys who was killed is from my constituency.
Oh, wow.
Yes. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. You go and it's just the breadwinner for the family. In fact, the family sought to even heave a sigh of relief because at least they also have their son somewhere working. And all of a sudden they are told that the man is shot dead. Now, what we are seeing is that those who are there are all crying to leave those areas.
Yeah. Because they feel unsafe.
That is it. Now they leave house and they are going there and they don't know whether, like Doctor said, whether they will return. And so we have to have a way around it. They cannot be the people to be suffering these things. At least they are there to protect. Is it that they are not given the necessary weapons? Can we find a way of even getting security around those areas? Because the people who bring in these items, they will want to have the borders be as porous and as loose as possible, so that they can do their things. And it tells you that these our immigration officers are doing something right. That is why the people would be at them like that. If they were colluding, even though we know that some of them are doing their own business there, but to the extent that the people will find their presence there to be a hindrance to their flow of business, it means that they are doing something right. And we must find every means to support them. And we have to find a way to even provide an insurance package for these people who lose their lives. I heard there was a time they were proposing insurance for police officers. Yes. We have to have a similar one for the immigration. The family, they can't just lose their loved ones like that, and that will be all the case. And the people have to have some assurance that at least there is some layer of security protection around along the borders. In fact, if we have to have, like I said, the military have their posts there too as well. And trust me, people make a lot from this smuggling, and they'll stop at nothing to get rid of these people who make their work difficult. And if government is not acting, chances are we'll find the officers now even trying to play game with these people. They will now play ball with them, and they will allow them to do whatever is there for them to do, so that everybody can have their peace of mind. And so I'm happy that they have called on the chief of staff and the security agencies, the interior minister, the presidents. They should look at this issue. How can we at least make sure that the lives of these young ones are protected, and that they feel safe, and that they are not unduly killed like this? It's pathetic. I don't know what to say, but these are people who have been given the mandate to provide us with protection. They would have to ensure that we sleep and know that we're sleeping well. They will have to man our borders. And now their lives are being taken away like fowls. I think we all have to add our call to the interior minister, to the chief of staff, and to the president himself to look at and review the way they are being handled, to review how our border posts are being manned, and then let's have these people have some some assurance that indeed they are not going to be left to suffer all this.
Absolutely. Doc.
Officer 2, Rafiq Mohammed. May his soul rest in peace. Send condolences to his family and the rank and file of the Ghana Immigration Service. This is a very unfortunate incident that shouldn't have happened. I'm aware that upon Daniel is responding to treatment, his jaw, they hit it. Whoa. His jaw, so broken.
It's pathetic.
Okay, and these are people that are taking care of our borders. They had rifles on them. I have the rifle number here, AK-47, that the Ghana Immigration Service has equipped them with. The registration is GH/JIS/HQACN 668516-1646, okay? And, you know, they really just wanted to kill these people. And, you see, this is beyond a threat because, you see, this is a border town. Yeah. That's what we must realize. And this is closer to the Sahel. That's what we must also realize. And we are dealing with terrorism. And so it's not something that can be underestimated. When the security officials are not safe, do you know what they will do? They will protect themselves. When they protect themselves, do you know what will happen? Innocent people will die.
Yeah.
Now, Major Mahama, may he so rest in peace. You know, Major Mahama had every right to protect himself. But because he's a well-trained military man, he decided not to use his arms. And he lost his life. There's been so many casualties of incidents of security officers who have lost their lives because they've been trained well to protect civilians. Now, if they feel that civilians are attacking them, they would also protect themselves. If they start protecting themselves, do you know what that means? That's war.
Yeah.
Breeding.
Yeah. And that's what we don't want to see.
And that's not what we don't want to see. And so, you see, can we propose some solutions here? Because I think that's important. The President, John Dramani Mahama, must take considerable decisions and almost immediately now. Look, borders are important. Kodjo, we can't joke with it. These are border towns. When we are sleeping and having sleepless nights, our officers are on the streets protecting us. The immigrations are the borders protecting us. And Ghana is bounded across. There is the Gulf of Guinea. That's where the pirates come to perpetrate their piracy and continue their threats of terrorism. So really, this issue is very unfortunate. Mahama must really calm tensions down because there are recurrences that are likely to happen of families that feel unsettled with the indiscriminate way their family member has been handled. And this does not give hope to the young people who want to protect their country. This is not Gaza. This is not Palestine. This is not Israel. This is not Istanbul. It's none of those places where there are chaos and war. This is Ghana, democratic country, under a civilian government. And so, Ghana Immigration Service, our condolences to you.
Yeah.
Reinforce your men. You see, it's not about sending more people there. It's about making sure that we have leadership that can protect both security and civilians. And that's what we need.
Absolutely. Well, Doc, thank you. Thank you so much. And Honorable, thank you so much for coming as well.
Thank you.
And I like the fact that we are ending the conversation with propositions to, restore confidence in the young men and women who choose to serve their country through the security services. And we've had Abdul Fattah Al-Hassan Jofa, who is Member of Parliament for Yendi. He's also a private legal practitioner. And Dr. Palgrave Boache Dankwa, lecturer at UPSA and former government spokesperson spokesperson for governance and security, and he says it's time to get connected, if you know what that means. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming once again.
Thank you, Kodjo.
This is the Breakfast Review. We're back shortly after this with another engagement. Stick and stay with us. facility at a time. And I'm privileged to have in studio this morning Richard Kodjo Champon, who is founder of Sanitopia, and he's here with Isaac Obnofori, who is CEO of Koshakis Limited and the Green City Housing Project Limited as well. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning. Morning.
Yeah, Richard, I'm meeting you again, and I'm excited to see you.
Thank you.
I hope you're doing well.
Very well, thank
Fantastic.
you. Ghana is treating me well.
So let me start with you. I mean, for those who do not know what Sanitopia is all about, talk to me about the project.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sanitopia CIC is a community insurance company registered in the United Kingdom and also registered in Ghana as a foundation. As a company that is concerned about our sanitation issues, we want to talk about an issue that affects each and every one of us, but often it is not talked about.
Right.
Sanitation. Lack of access to adequate and clean sanitation is an issue. This issue leads to the spread of diseases such as cholera, diarrhea, hepatitis C, and typhoid. And it does impact lives every single day.
Right.
So that is what Sanitopia is about. Our vision is to build sanitation facilities across Ghana and Africa. If I give you some statistics, I think it will put the conversation into context.
Right.
It is 2025, and 202 million people in Africa lack access to clean and adequate sanitation facilities. In fact, in some countries like Chad and Niger, they report upwards of 60% of their people practicing open defecation. And the statistics I've just given, 202 million, they are the people who practice open defecation in Africa. Now, 80% of people in Africa, and for that matter Ghana, do not have access to adequate sanitation. Now, these figures are not just numbers. These are real lives. They represent real lives. It is the reality of people. It does affect their educational, people suffer from educational setbacks and economic hardships, and leads to the perpetuation of poverty and ill health. And this is the issue that Sanitopia wants to tackle. We want to bring it to the public domain.
Right.
We want to ignite discussion about this. So our vision is